Autodromo Internazionale Enzo Dino Ferrari, Imola, round 4 of this 2025 F1 season, coming off of a very up and down roller coaster race where Mick was in the bin and Red Bull out strategized us to get a win for Charles Leclerc. Bit unfortunate, really. A couple of dev points. Mick's are going directly into his control. Pierre is going to go into his reactions. We're going to try and make things a little more even up there on the pace. Teo also has one. We'll put it into his control as well. Any staff dev points? No. But we do have a regulation vote. The boardroom condition is low. We have the money to refurb that. We will do so. What else we have? We have our regulation vote, minor technical changes, very minor technical changes. We are going to be voting for chassis and side pods. Do I really care about these? I think we're gonna go with chassis focused because it affects things less. If it affects less things than the other one, exceeding expectations, exceeding your expectations, maybe not necessarily mine. We're just looking. Our side pod design is completed. We have 9 days to Imola. Next one after that, 23 days to Miami. If we do this, we'll have 4. Sounds good. We're not going to be super worried about having them for now. What I do want to do is make sure that research period opened. Saw that. Boardroom refurb is here. Research has started. It looks like we're doing the chassis focus changes, which is what we wanted. That is perfect. Our tour center, oh no, get that going. We'll take care of race prep, and then we'll go make sure all of the car parts are there. 2 drivers into Q2, 2 drivers into Q3. Seems pretty easy. We're going to do 2 drivers in the top 8. We're going to hope Mick has a nice bounce back race here. Looks like our qualifying position streak is going to finish up this weekend, which we love to see. Now we're going to go here and install on both cars. I think we're good on everything else. Let's make sure we have backups of everything. We are going to put... Are we going to risk putting on a side pod? Yes, we are. We need to take some risks. We need to close up the gap and ensure our dominance. But for now, let's go ahead and jump into the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix race weekend. I make follow out Carlos. Pierre follow out Ocon. Mick is gonna get a clean lap. Yep. Pierre is not gonna get a clean lap. He's gonna run into Bottas. Unfortunate. He gets him into that. Mick goes purples all the way through. Pierre takes his middle and last sectors. Pierre, what happened to my guy? Traffic, I'm assuming. But Mick had a clean lap, so Mick is now good. Pierre, we're gonna send out again. Purple first sector doesn't improve. I mean, he was flying. And purple, wow. We are flying, by the way. Absolutely flying. All right, there's Q1. Nothing else really to do there. Norris still hadn't, okay, he just finished his lap. I was gonna say, Norris hadn't finished a lap. It's a relatively short lap. Looks like everyone else going back out. Kevin's gonna get out. Kevin's really good about getting out there early. We are currently sitting 1-2, so I'm not worried about it at all. So everyone will come through. No one even touches us. Joe saves himself. Wow, saves himself. we've seen this bottom 5 a lot. Both Williams, both Aston Martins, and Zane Maloney. Nick is gonna follow around Norris and Pierre. We're gonna wait and send right at the end. I'm not gonna watch this one. I feel like I normally watch Q2s, but at the same time, our pace is perfectly fine, so we'll just watch it. Mick does not improve first sector, unfortunately. Does improve his second sector. Love to see it. Pierre goes purple first. Mick does improve. Not enough to go past Bottas. Oh, Bottas goes above Pierre, but Pierre's banged in 2 purple sectors. I imagine we'll see quite an improvement for Pierre as he does. He puts 2/10 on the steroid. Ocon out. Albon did probably as good. Both Alfa Romeo's out. Seb P12, not bad. Things you love to see. The Red Bulls not quite the pace that one would expect them to have. All right, we're gonna wait until it gets about right above three minutes left. We're gonna send to Pierre. Oh, Mick. I'm sorry, Mick. Right behind both McLarens. Ugh. Sorry, Mick. That one's on me. That one is on me. But we will hop on board here with Pierre as we try and put one on pole once again, and hopefully we'll convert this one to a win. But here as the final corner starts his flying lap here at the finish of the top 10 shootouts here at Imola with the sun setting. See what we can do here. Mick is going to be dealing with a lot of dirty air. We'll see how he responds to being directly behind the 2 McLarens. Pierre goes fastest in the first sector. I'm loving this new strategy of getting them out early, getting them in some clean air, and letting him go to work. Purple middle sector. Mick unfortunately does not improve on his first sector time, so unless he just threw in a banging first lap, we'll see. He does improve his middle sector. Good to see. Pierre will come across the line. He does improve, but a yellow final sector, probably not as much as he would have wanted to improve. We'll have to wait and see. Mick comes and crosses the line. Mick also improves a little bit. It is a provisional 1-2. It is a provisional front row lockouts for the rest of the grid here. Everyone else coming and across the line. Not enough. Verstappen goes P3, Leclerc P7, Sainz P9. That is, oh, and Russell snipes Mick. Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, that's so unfortunate. It will not be a front row lockout for a Haas. I should have waited one more second for Mick to go. If Mick gets a little bit more clean air, I think he does a little bit better, but unfortunate. But it is another pole position for Pierre. It is a front row start for Pierre and a second row start for Mick here at Imola. 1 stops for both of them to the tire wear around here is more than good enough, and we'll also have a set of softs should we need them later. But for now, let's go. The Emilia Romagna Grand Prix Imola. Let's try and have a good race. Let's have a solid race from both drivers. We haven't had one of those in so long, and let's have one right here, right now. Let's get it.
We have beautiful blue skies overhead.
Beautiful blue skies.
Up on the grid. And there we have Pierre.
Pierre Gasly, the man on pole position.
In anticipation of this.
To 5 red lights.
It's lights out and away we go.
All right, let's go. Let's go. Come on. Yep. Ooh, Verstappen. Come on, Mick. Yes. 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 Great stuff, Mick. Great stuff. Oh, up the inside.
Haas with an overtake.
We're flying. Oh, Haas 1-2 once again. All right, we're gonna immediately drop their ERSI. We'll keep pushing on fuel and tires here, trying to create as much of a delta as we can. Yellow flag. Looks like an Aston Martin running wide. Looks like Van Dorn.
Oh, did someone run
Nailed it.
wide there?
It's become a pretty good guess so far this season. If it's Van Dorn or just not Van Dorn. That seems to be the only two options here. Tire check. Ooh, a good mix. Wow, actually a really good mix. Mediums, hards, and softs across the field. Very interesting stuff. Russell falls out of that 1 second barrier. We'll drop tires for Pierre. We'll keep Mick pushing to keep that gap as much as we can, if we can. See if we can increase it by a little bit. We'll sacrifice tires a little bit longer, and we will drop him now that it's gone pretty out of hand. We'll leave Russell to the hands of one Max Verstappen. Bottas also teetering on that 1 second gap to not getting DRS. As always, I thought about it for a second there in case you couldn't tell, but we thought about it. Our boys are free to fight, but I'm hoping Pierre just has that little bit more pace than Mick, and Mick will use DRS to continue to widen that gap to Russell behind. We'll leave Pierre pushing on fuel. We'll drop Mick down, save that fuel for later. We'll let Pierre continue to push on as we try and break away from the pack. Bottas, that 2 second gap. We've now created a couple of packs here. The two Haas's, Russell, Verstappen, and then Bottas, and effectively the rest of the field down here. I'm sure Bottas is having a lot of fun dealing with effectively the rest of the top 10. Actually the rest of the top 15 outside of the front two. So there is that. Verstappen and Russell fighting, going side by side. Russell's got the inside line, but Verstappen's gonna make the move. Oh, they're going side by side through the entire first sector. Oh, this is great stuff. Oh, they're still side by side. Oh my goodness. Who's gonna come out on top? Verstappen's gonna have that inside line in the last two left-handers. That might do it. That might be enough for him. Wow, they've been side by side this entire lap. Verstappen is not gonna have DRS though. Or is he? He does have DRS. Where's the detection point for that? I feel like Verstappen should not have had DRS right there, but hey, to each their own. Looks like Perez gets ahead of Bottas and is now defending the rest of the top 15. Ocon having an absolute nightmare down there in P13. Let's see, Zhou in P17 is a bit of a nightmare. The two Williamses, once again, P15 and 16, doing a-okay by the looks of it. This is fascinating to watch, to say the least. What tires are we looking at here? A couple of fastest lap setting stuff going on here. They're trading fastest laps. Pierre has the clean air, but Mick has the DRS, which is fascinating to watch here. Let's see, tire check. Our tires are the worst of the medium runners in the top 5, but I'm not too worried. It really shouldn't become an issue towards the end of this stretch. So I'm hoping we'll be able to save a little bit of tires should we need to. I might actually put Mick on light tires and just see what happens with that. Use this opportunity to have him sit behind Pierre and save some tires for the long haul. We will lower Pierre down to regular fuel for now. Perez still defending the rest of the grid, but has losing a lot of time as we continue to march forward here. Let's check on Verstappen and Russell. George doing pretty good to keep up with Verstappen. Probably doing the right move and having Verstappen just carry him forward. He's already gained a 10th or so, but Russell isn't really doing much to attack Verstappen per se. We'll see what happens with DRS right here. We'll probably stay on this pair for a little bit as Russell makes a move to the inside. and actually gets ahead of Verstappen on that one. Verstappen's probably fuming, not getting the free air that he was probably hoping for. We're gonna leave Mick on light tires. Who did it? I saw it. Signs running wide. Nightmare. Oh. Oh wow, okay, he actually did run wide. That definitely slowed up that entire backpack. Where's that at? Sector 3, another one? He did, I don't know. He didn't lose any positions, but it definitely... Verstappen went wide. I missed that completely. Whoa, oh, wow, very wide. Russell now with a bunch of clean air. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Verstappen. Bottas gets ahead of Verstappen. Uh-oh. Verstappen having an absolute nightmare. George Russell now with a 4-second gap behind and a 4-second gap ahead. A bit of clear air. Be interesting to see what happens with that. Verstappen now finds himself down in P5. Leclerc in P7. A bit of a Red Bull McLaren back and forth here. Bottas doing pretty good to hold up the rest of the group. This is turning into probably a best case scenario here. Ocon down in P13 is definitely not what the folks in Maranello are aspiring for, as Verstappen tries to poke the nose in there to Bottas, not able to get it done, unfortunately for him. It's like there's some battling going on. Couple of people taking a little bit of a look-see as we move down here. Coming to the finish of the 11th lap here at Imola. It is still a Haas 1-2 followed by a Mercedes 3-4, and then a back and forth of Red Bull and a McLaren from there. Gonna shake up very interesting. The Ferrari's having an absolute nightmare with Sainz out of the points and Ocon down there in P13. What else? Danny Rick rounds out the top 10. Seb in P12. Kind of just getting caught up in the game in this DRS train here, from P4 to P4 to P15, all kind of in the same group. The Williamses are bookending that gap, that about 2.5 second gap down there, 15 and 16, and we are entirely just chilling. Van Dorn spinning or running wide? That was probably running wide.
Looks like there's been a lockup.
Lock up going straight through. Man, Van Dorn just cannot get it done. Unfortunate for them. Aston Martin having an absolute nightmare. No Fernando Alonso to save them there. I missed Verstappen getting ahead of Bottas. Probably the best thing that could have happened for Bottas, if we're being entirely honest. Now he can just try and hold on to the back of Verstappen, and they can look to get pulled forward here. This is why the one stop was absolutely the move, because looking at this, we're 14 laps into the race, and the soft tires are still on 60%. Doing a two stop here is probably a bit much. I would imagine the soft runners are doing a soft to hard one stop, and the hard runners are probably aiming that hard to, it's either going to be a hard to a medium, but if they were smart with the tire wear the way it looks like it's going, it would probably be smart to do the hard to softs, because the softs seem to last for quite a while by the looks of it. But as of now, it does not look like Bottas has the pace on the hards to really attack Verstappen on the mediums, but he's very content to just kind of hang out behind and pressure Verstappen, see if he can force him into a mistake. And other than that, everyone else is kind of really held firm here. Not a whole lot of shifting around has really happened, as we see a yellow flag in sector 1.
Like
Stroll running wide. The Aston Martin's in absolute shambles. Not sure I've seen a team in worse shambles than us in maybe season 1. Let's see. Magnussen, Vettel, Ocon all pitting. Maloney also pitting. It looks like the soft runners are calling it a day. Also, I'm interested to see what tires these guys go to. Well, these guys are going to hards more than likely, unless they're doing a weird soft, medium, soft two-stop. All mediums. Are we going to see a two-stop from these 5 guys here? Soft, medium, soft maybe? Or are they doing trying a soft to medium one stop, which would be absolutely absurd, I would have to imagine. Bottas ahead of Verstappen, by the way. I'm really trying to see the vision here from a soft stint to a medium stint, unless they're trying to do 46 laps on a set of mediums, which I suppose you could if you really wanted to. Probably wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But realistically, a weird two-stop, maybe a soft medium stint, so they can go, you know, extra hard push. But I mean, poor Van Dorn, 11 seconds off the pace here, and is likely going to get caught by us sooner rather than later. Yeah, 56 seconds off the pace here. Not exactly what you want to see. Not a whole lot to really say about this one, for being honest. Kind of been just biding our time. We are nearing probably, let's see, Mick has been able to reset his tires back to pretty much where everyone else is. We'll load him back up to standard tires. Pierre has been able to get his back in line. Like, Mick has been trending well above, so we'll move him back to standard tires and let him kind of continue on.
I think someone's run wide.
Maloney running wide there. Alright, don't fight doesn't mean don't get DRS. That's not what that means. Not a whole lot really happening. We're about 5-ish laps to our first idea of a pit stop. We will be pitting Pierre first with the way this is going. We'll give Mick the DRS down the main straight. Maloney locking up again, or that might have been the first one. Yeah, we'll give Mick DRS down the main straight. We'll box Pierre, and then we'll go from there. Verstappen a full second off of Bottas now. It looks like the hards are finally starting. And he runs a little wide. Uh-oh, Verstappen loses a few places. Not what you want to see. That's a bit of a nightmare scenario for Red Bull, if we're being honest. What does this look like? Realistically, I'd like to see some other people pit first so we can clear up a bit of a gap. Otherwise, we'll be looking at coming out in this bit of traffic, unless we want to go back to pushing now and box maybe a lap later than everyone else. We will do that. We saved up quite a bit of fuel. We'll go to push. We will box Pierre on the optimum lap, and we'll box Mick the lap after, but we'll let them push and generate a bit of a gap here. Let's see. Yeah. We'll likely see a good amount of boxing this lap. Yes, box for hards. Yes, you also are going to box for hards, but you are going to delay yours by a lap. We've opened up quite a gap here. We do have a bit more clear air. Like safety car yellow flag, or what's going on? Or just the yellow flag?
Sounds like there's been a crash.
Ricardo crashing. Not a safety car, though. It is not a safety car. All right, Gasly in the pits. Mick boxing this lap. Quite the gap. What a pit lane. All right, perfect. We find ourselves sitting very, very pretty. Mick will come out behind Pierre, ahead of Ja. Perfect. What a perfect set of stops. We are still in at 1-2. And we are absolutely chilling. We'll drop them. We'll drop them both back down to balanced. Pierre sets a new fastest lap on a new set of hards. Things you love to see. Tsunoda pitting. And honestly, we are kind of just waiting. I want to see Red Bull kind of having a bit of a nightmare with, looks like Leclerc. Yeah, Leclerc's still sitting P3, but still has to stop. And it looks like, I mean, these stints are crazy. They're 30 laps into this. Relax.
Look at that! They've run wide.
Relax.
Let's take a closer look. Now look at this. It's Pierre Gasly.
Yeah, he just runs wide right there. That's fine. Relax. Relax. We're fine. I'm interested to see exactly when these hard tire runners decide to pit.
I think we've had a car run
Norris running wide. That's a bit of a nightmare for him, especially considering now Pierre is ever closer. He's back within DRS of this group. Honestly, at this point, I kind of want to get them both back in and then just let them go light tires.
Is that a new race position for Haas?
And then just kind of vibe, save tires as long as possible. And yeah, that sounds fantastic. Well, back on board here. We'll stick it on Norris kind of in the middle. I guess actually Leclerc is technically in the middle. And we'll keep an eye. But they're on light tires. We're not worried about making overtakes. You know, they still have to pit. We're right there with them. As long as we can stay with them. As long as Bottas doesn't get too far ahead. Vettel! Ocon! Uh-oh. No safety car. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff.
Multiple cars, I think. Let's take a look at the replay.
Uh-oh, Seb. Turn, lock up. Yep, straight in. Oh, that's nasty for them. I mean, Ocon was already struggling severely. They got damage. They have to have damage. Oh yeah, missing half a front wing, likely chassis damage. I mean, that's horrific. Tsunoda also having mistakes.
And that's a lockup.
Tsunoda locking up. That's great stuff. Vettel and Ocon pit, likely fixing a lot of damage. I would imagine Ocon has quite a bit of damage. Let's see, Bottas has opened up a 6-second gap ahead to Norris. We have to keep an eye on that. If we do need to like try and make some moves to get around these guys, we will. But oh my God, Pierre just went full send and now is in second. Incredible. We're gonna leave. I mean, we're gonna leave him on light tires.
Haas have moved up the
That was what a move by Pierre here.
Now look at this. It's Pierre Gasly.
Around the outside of Leclerc, around all the way to the outside, back to the inside for Norris, and Pierre now is in second place once again here at Imola. What a move. And he's already pulling gaps. to Norris, who, I mean, he's already put a full second into them. I'm gonna put Pierre on conserve. I mean, I'm gonna try and hold on to tires as long as possible. Mick, we're gonna leave on light. We need him to just kind of continue just to get held on. Continue to have him hold on to signs. It does look like Russell is slowly catching up to this pack, but probably by the time he actually completes that catch up, I mean, we'll have likely a large tire advantage. I mean, we already have, we're on Mick's on 84, Russell already on 82. We're gonna have the tire delta for sure at the end of this race to make some absolute moves. Pierre's already put 3 seconds, almost 3 full seconds in between him and Norris, as Leclerc makes the move on Norris. Uh-oh. All right, Mick, we need to, Russell is within 3 seconds. We need to, we probably need to be trying to make our way through here. Put him back to push and standard. Wow, Russell is flying apparently. Holy. We'll put Pierre back to light tires so he can continue to open up that gap. Actually, we're gonna put Pierre back to just bog standard, neutral everything. We'll let him get pushing again. Mick makes his way past signs.
Haas with an overtake there.
Beautifully. Should probably be able to pretty easily make his way around Norris and Leclerc, just with the tires there on 46 and 45%. They're not going to be able to do too much to defend with this. Their tires are really starting to fall off. Russell has caught up to signs, but now we are back into P2, P3. Ahead of Leclerc, Norris, Sainz. Russell still has to make his way through. We'll hop back on board. We'll watch Mick's double overtake. We gave Pierre that. Look at that. Once again, around the outside of both of them down the straight. Absolute pace coming out of the lad. And hopefully we'll leave Mick on push fuel to try and break that DRS to Leclerc, which she just did. So Leclerc now no longer will have DRS. And we can let Mick, actually I'm gonna let Mick burn off a little bit more fuel, just because we didn't burn off as much fuel at the beginning of the race as we did Pierre. So we'll let Mick continue to push, try and put in a little bit of close up the gap a little bit to Pierre. We're gonna hope that Carlos will defend against Russell a little bit more than he did for us, slow him up a little bit. And it looks like it's working so far. Beautiful stuff, beautiful scenes. Pierre, by the way, back already on the rear bumper of Valtteri Bottas, and will likely get him right here if I had to imagine down the main straight. 3108s. We'll pop back on board just to see. Bottas doing a good enough job defending, but likely won't last forever. Once Pierre gets the lead here, he should be able to just kind of run away with it, I would imagine. Mick doing a pretty good job of closing up that gap to Pierre as well. Tire check on Bottas, 43%. They're likely getting close to their pit window. There you go. Pierre makes his way down the inside. Pierre leads the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Once again, Bottas pits, which is probably a good call, and they all pit now. And now we have moved into the final phase of this one, except for Carlos Sainz, who is still doing the Lord's work and holding up George Russell, continuing on 39% hard tires. And it looks like I was right. It looks like it's going to be a hard to soft stint for these runners, and George Russell is probably fuming relentlessly in his cockpit right now, still behind the rear bumper of Carlos Sainz. Just cannot make the move, as Pierre and Mick both have some clean air. Carlos finally pits. Russell is released, but has a 7-second gap to make Schumacher to make up. And it looks like from here, the rest of the field is pretty well spread out at this point. Pierre is catching Van Dorn, which scares me because, oh boy, is Van Dorn almost more of a danger to himself than anyone. But we are getting into the final phases of this one. He makes his way past Van Dorn successfully. Although Van Dorn is going to get DRS off of him and kind of get dragged along, which is unfortunate for us. He should be able to pull away from Van Dorn here relatively quickly. So, shouldn't have to worry about it for too much longer, I had to imagine. Pick is catching Van Dorn at this point. There it is. There's that likely 1 second gap. That Van Dorn no longer has DRS off of Pierre. The rest of the field nice and spread out for us. Ricardo locking up. Bit of a nightmare race for Ricardo. Verstappen back into P4. Bottas comes out in P5 and is trying to do his best to catch Verstappen. If this gets down to around that 1 second barrier, we may hop on board and watch this, which it looks like it will. Bottas catching Verstappen, and this would be huge for our bid this season. We'll see if Bottas can make his way around Verstappen and deny him one singular driver points in this year's World Drivers' Championship, which would be really good for us in the long term. We need a good weekend, and it looks like we might get one here. Verstappen on 59% hards, but those softs from Bottas are falling off very, very quickly, actually. It looks like these soft tire runners are pushing pretty hard at this point. So it'll be interesting to see how this shakes out. Excuse me. Fascinating battle to watch. It's really the only, I guess, signs on Norris, but that's not really super interesting. I mean, other than that, Ocon's down in P17 battling an Aston Martin and Lance Stroll. So this really is the most interesting thing going on track right now. Valtteri Bottas trying to make his way around the Red Bull. Leclerc currently still in P7, but has about a little 1/10 less than 4 second gap ahead to Sergio Perez in the McLaren. I think all of them are on softs, right? Perez on hards, Leclerc on softs, but has not really been able to probably make up as much ground as he thought they would. I mean, only running 1.3 tenths faster than Checo here. Bottas does make the move on Max Verstappen into P4. Love to see it. It is now a Mercedes 3-4 here, and Red Bull are having an absolute nightmare scenario here as we will continue on. I can't imagine Verstappen having enough down the finish here to really challenge too hard. And so it looks like it will be a 3-4 for Mercedes should things hold as they currently are. What a fascinating race to watch. Verstappen is going to do his darndest to get back around, but I don't know if the tires are going to be able to last long enough to get around Bottas. Although Bottas' tires are now at 45%. I would love to know what his like push level is, because those tires are kind of getting roasted pretty quickly considering when they put on. I know it was a used set of tires, but at the same time, the wear is gonna fall off pretty quickly here if he can't You can't make a mistake. I'm just gonna stay on this screen, honestly. I'm curious to see what his tire wear looks like as we continue to finish laps here. Because if it gets the closer and closer these tires get to that magical 30% number, the more and more that he is going to slow down more and more. He's lost, it's been at least a couple of percentage points per lap at this rate. But we hit lap 60 and he's on 41% tires. Very, very fascinating to watch. I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't look like Verstappen's gonna have a whole lot to really fight him with. I mean, 50% hard tires versus 40% soft tires. And so far it looks like 40% soft tires is the way to go on this one, as he is just continually opening up slighter and slighter gaps here through sectors 2 and 3. But that DRS on the main straight is the great equalizer here, as it always seems to be, and just allows Max to close up all the way down the straight, have a bit of a look, but not enough to actually get the move done. 38% now for Valtteri Bottas, and he has to survive only a couple more laps here. Very, very interesting. A fascinating battle to watch for sure, as we come down to the end of this one. Will the move stick? I don't know. Am I excited to see how these last 2 laps shake out? Absolutely. 36% tires now. Max Verstappen can feel it. He might have just been biding his time, pushing Valtteri to push those tires a little bit further than they realistically should. He's gonna stay above 30%, but barely. He's been averaging about 2 and a bit percent a lap. So at this rate, he would finish with about 31 or 32% tires, as Pierre Gasly starts the final lap of the Grand Prix. What a race. Uh-oh, Valtteri's starting his final lap. Max needs to make the move. He goes down the inside, but Valtteri, he closes the door, doesn't make it stick. Oh my, Verstappen fuming. 32% tires. It'll probably hit 31% by the time this lap is over. We're gonna stay right here and watch to see how this finishes. 31% tires for Valtteri. Pierre Gasly wins the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Get in there.
And it's Gasly, first over the
We'll watch this because we didn't watch him cross the line. Pierre Gasly, a perfect race from Pierre Gasly, a perfect race from Mick Schumacher, a Haas F1 Team in Italy. Let's go. Let's go, Pierre. Let's go. Huge, huge. Red Bull in the mud in this one. Haas F1 Team. Can't get any better than this, but we're back. 31% tires out of the last corner. Verstappen does not have enough, and Valtteri Bottas will come home and finish P4 ahead of Max Verstappen. Charles Leclerc gets in the points right at the last moment. Oh boy, Red Bull does get a double points finish, but it is the minimum double points finish. What a race. Wowee. What a race. This race had everything. It had multiple strategies. It had battles to the wire. It had tire percentages nearing the magical 30% right on the last corners. What a race. But the day is not about them. The day is about Haas. Pierre Gasly winning the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Mick Schumacher coming in P2. What a day for us. What a day for Haas, who we definitely win the weekend here in Italy.
Brilliant performance from the Haas driver.
Attaboy, Pierre. Attaboy.
What a beautiful sight that is on the podium, and a true crowning achievement for everyone involved.
What a beautiful sight. What a beautiful sight. Congrats to George as well, rounding out the podium. Lucky for them, there's no third Haas driver.
Sensational achievement for that Haas driver, it has to be said. They'll be absolutely ecstatic to finish up there.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. A maximum points finish for Haas this weekend. Love to see it.
And after all that hard work, surely it's time for them to enjoy this moment.
100%. Enjoy the moment.
Haas there having a very successful day at the race.
I would say so. I would say so. Some beautiful strategic decisions here. We come all the way back to take the lead in the constructors. Let's go. We head home to Miami next round. Love to see it. Oh, what a beautiful finish. Maximum points for the team. Almost maximum pain for Red Bull. Oh, let's go. Pierre Gasly takes the lead of the driver standings. Mick still in P4. Didn't make up enough to get back into the top 3. And for the constructors, we put 13 points on top of Red Bull for P1 by 5 points in the constructors. What a race. What a weekend. Let's go. We have to keep building on this. If we can do this every race, there's no shot we ever lose. $6 million in the bank. We did not get fastest lap. Did not realize that was one of them. But we get a massive payday from our qualifying streak. Massive payday from there. Massive paydays all around. $6 million in the bank. A 1-2 for a Haas. First in the drivers, first in the constructors. Let's keep going.